Alrighty, would you mind to say and spell your name for me?
My name is Pastor Christian Shields, Christian Shields, and I'm the senior pastor of Christian Life Church of Cedar Rapids.
And I'm sorry, we've heard so many different pronunciations and everyone's saying them differently, but how do you say the family's last name?
Jaramillo.
Jaramillo. Okay.
Not Jaramillo.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard so many different things, so we want to make sure I was saying it right.
Yeah, Jaramillo.
Okay. So while we do this, you can just look at me here. So first, just explain, how long have you known the family?
Yeah, so the Jaramillos have been coming to church for about a year and a half. So they called me and said, we're looking for a church in town. We're looking for family. We really want a place that's going to be a family church. And we said, man, come check us out. And they did, and just immediately we became family. We went out to lunch with them that Sunday, and they really just wanted someone that they could love and be loved by and love Jesus with. And so we quickly became close. We're not a big church, so we're able to really spend time with people like the Jaramillos. And what I could definitely say about our relationship is that the whole family, the Jaramillo family, is a upstanding family. They're kind, they're loving, they love to serve. Very quickly after coming to church, the father of the Jaramillo family, David, came to me and said, man, how can I serve? What can we be doing to help? And ever since then, they've been serving in the church on Sundays. They bring cookies every Sunday morning. No one asked them to. They're just like, hey, we just want to bless people. So they bring like 4 dozen cookies every Sunday morning. And in fact, it was one of our signs that something was wrong was when the cookies weren't there. I'm going to try to hold my emotions together. Sorry. They clean the church on the weekends, and even when it's their off week, they'll come by and make sure everything's okay. They just really love to serve as a family, and they just love to be a part of the community.
Have you heard from them since this happened?
Yeah, I've been with the Jaramillos. That's why I'm in Des Moines right now. We've been with the Jaramillos all week. Came down Sunday morning, July 4th, had the voicemail on the church mailbox saying that there was an accident, that this tragedy had happened at Adventureland. And, the nurse called it an accident, but the more I think about it, it's not an accident. It's a tragedy. Somebody is to blame for this. And it's certainly not the Jaramillos, and it's certainly not Michael, who gave his life to Jesus on the 4th of July. But yeah, we've been with the Jaramillos all week.
Can you give us just a little bit of an update of those that were on the ride with them, and are they still in the hospital?
Yeah, so everybody who was on the raft, when I saw them on Sunday, the catastrophe happened on Saturday evening, and I didn't get the news until Sunday morning, and I rushed straight to the hospital from Cedar Rapids, and everybody who was on the raft has some kind of head injury. As the raft capsized, the water was very shallow, so their heads all hit the concrete and the rocks underneath the water. So there was bumps, bruises, swellings, cuts. Fortunately, they were all checked out, no concussions as far as I know. David, the father, and the mother, Sabrina, both have arm injuries, and David in particular, his shoulder was trapped under the raft, and he had to rip his shoulder out from under the raft. He said he could hear his bones crunching and crushing as he pulled his shoulder out from under the raft, and so his shoulder is still in really bad shape. His arm is swollen and all sorts of different colors. It's going in to surgery early next week to get that shoulder repaired. Gus and Nyla, Gus is 14 and Nyla is his 18-year-old cousin. They were sharing a seatbelt on this particular ride. You share a seatbelt with another rider, and Nyla said that she heard God tell her to remove the seatbelt right as the raft was flipping, and she was able to get this seatbelt removed as they're flipping upside down. And so Nyla and Gus were first out of the raft, and their injuries are the most minor. They weren't dragged as far across the concrete. Of course, we know that Michael and David were trapped underwater for at least 10 minutes, Michael and young David. And their injuries were, of course, the most serious and catastrophic. And, of course, Michael didn't survive. He lives on with Jesus, but we're living life without Michael. But David is doing better. Young David's doing better. It's miraculous. He went without oxygen for at least 10 minutes, but he is alive. He has brain function. They're slowly removing him from his medically induced coma. He's still heavily sedated, but I don't think they consider it a medical induced coma anymore, as he's able to wake up occasionally. I was at his bedside with his parents yesterday, and as his parents talked to him, he could respond. He opened his eyes, he woke up, he turned his head to his parents, and they were able to ask some questions, and he was able to give some basic gestures to answer yes or no. He tried to talk, but of course he's got so many tubes going down his throat for life support that he couldn't talk, but he was able to communicate. At one point he even laughed. I could see his shoulders kind of coming up to laugh. He's in a lot of pain. He indicated that his ribs hurt very bad. His lungs probably hurt incredibly bad. And they're trying to manage the pain. The biggest concern with young David right now is his eyes. He can't see right now. I don't know why his eyes are damaged. I don't know if it was because of the water or because of lack of oxygen or because of both. But there is an eye doctor working on him, so we're praying for David. We're praying for his brain to be fully healed and fully restored, that there wouldn't be long-term brain damage, which would be a miracle from God. But we believe in miracles, and we're praying that his eyes would fully recover.
In saying that, I mean, as a man of faith and with this family that goes to church, do you think this is testing their faith a little bit? Have they mentioned anything like that before?
The Jaramillos love Jesus. All of them love Jesus. And they are very proud to know that their son, Michael, gave his life to Jesus when he was 11 years old. Just 6 months ago, Michael gave his life to Jesus, and the Jaramillos are very proud of him, and they are assured that he is in heaven for the rest of his days, where there's no more sorrow, no more pain, no more weeping, and no matter what happens with young David, they're assured that young David is in the care of his Savior, and so it's a hard time for the Jaramillos. Of course it is. I can't imagine the pain and the anger and the emotions that they're going through, because I'm feeling that way, and I'm sure it's infinitely worse for them. But I know that they love their Savior. I know that they love God, and they're continuing to look to Him for comfort.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're going through. That is just, it's tragic. It's awful, and no amount of money, help, anything could bring back their son.
Yeah.
But if there is a way, the community can help out, because I'm sure that, there's going to be funeral costs.
Yeah.
There's going to be other payments. How can they help out, or do you guys have something set up?
Yeah, and I think you said it really well. We can't make things better, but we can help not make things worse. What we don't want for the Jaramillos is for them to have to worry about bills and finances and funeral costs. And so one of the things that we're doing is trying to take care of all of those needs for them, so that they can focus on mourning and grieving their lost son, and praying for and loving young David as he hopefully, prayerfully, fully recovers. So we've set up a GoFundMe. The church has set up a GoFundMe. My wife Amanda set that up, and it's been wildly successful. We only asked for $10,000 to pay for the funeral and a few bills, and it's already, Iowans are amazing people. It's already surpassed $40,000. But if people want to help, that's the best way they can do it. Every cent goes to the Jaramillos. They've got a trust fund set up. They've got an accountant, Harmony, who's working over that trust fund. So if they want to help, that's the best way they can help. But also, I just reach out to born-again believers, people of faith. Pray for young David. Dude, we are interceding for him, that he would live and not die, that his brain would be fully restored, that his eyes would work, and that he would live his life as a mighty man of God.
And if people want to help out with that GoFundMe, what do they do? Do they just look up the name, or?
Yeah, so if they just search online Jaramillo Adventureland Tragedy GoFundMe, it's the only one up.